we are back. It is Saturday, November 1st, which means the best month of the year, October, is officially over. November's not so bad though, so, we'll deal with it. But hello, my name is Lindy Jung. I am a soon-to-be traditionally published science fiction and fantasy author. My debut novel, MOTHSBLOOD, comes out fall 2026 from Bloomsbury in the US and Del Rey in the UK, and I am going to write 10,000 words again this weekend. There's no sugarcoating it really. It's just, why do I keep doing this to myself even the last time I suffered? I feel like I need to get this draft done. It's whatever. But before I launch into everything, I do want to give you guys a couple of updates. Some fun stuff has been happening in the 2 weeks since I last filmed one of these videos because frankly, after the last weekend of this challenge, I seriously needed a break. I had some respite, some relaxation, and now we're back. I don't even know where to start. So a couple of big things have happened. One, I cannot tell you yet, but it is really good news. Two is I actually got my first blurb request from another author, for me to read and blurb their book. I obviously can't share the name of the author or the book yet, but I'm super excited about it. I'm waiting for a physical copy to come in so I can read it and share my thoughts. And it's actually an author that I've read before, read and really admire their work. So I'm incredibly excited and honored. It's such a cool experience to get to do those author type things, read other people's books before they come out and have your name on the cover of their book or elsewhere. I don't think I'm necessarily cover worthy. And just to be a part of that ecosystem that, as readers, we kind of view from a distance. We don't necessarily get to be privy to it. And all of that has been super cool for me so far. Another update, there is official, I drew it, so I don't know if it's official, but I did draw 3 of the characters from MOTHSBLOOD. You can check these out on Instagram, but I'll just throw them up here. I drew Larkspur, the main character, who is obviously an ambitious alchemist in Paris dealing with some hard stuff from her past. And there's Violaine, who is this knight, which is not a real knight, it's more of a title in this world, but she clashes with Lark and also reluctantly works with her as well to investigate the murder that sets off the book. And then finally, the third character is sort of a figure from Lark's past, and I don't want to reveal too much about that yet, but it's cool to kind of have these visuals now to represent the book that aren't just things that I threw together in Canva. There are some visuals for the MOTHSBLOOD characters. And I didn't just do this randomly, it was a reference that I made for something because I was asked for visual references for the characters. Again, unfortunately, I can't share what that thing is quite yet, but I did want to share the art that I made because I think it's pretty fun. Final update is I just kind of want to share what I've currently been reading, and I actually have not just the 2 editions here, but 3 editions of this book because I went a little bit crazy, like a proud pageant mom who's very protective of this book. It's so funny. I was talking to Chris the other day. It's Local Heavens, by the way. I was sharing some stuff about MOTHSBLOOD, and she was like, it's so weird. I feel so protective of Lark. And I'm like, I feel that way about Local Heavens because I was fortunate enough to read an earlier version and now seeing it out in the world and all of its shiny beauty. I also specifically signed up for Aardvark Book Club to get the hardcover version because yeah, look at her, and also look at her naked. That sounds so weird. I'm so fortunate to have these 2 editions and the audiobook, which I have been listening to with my partner kind of intermittently. I just want him to experience Local Heavens because he's a cyberpunk fan. So yeah, that's what I've been reading very slowly, savoring it like a fine wine, and also enjoying all of the differences from the version that I read earlier. But yeah, Local Heavens is out now wherever books are sold. This is a wonderful queer cyberpunk Gatsby retelling, and it is genuinely, truly, not just because she's my friend, although I know that plays a part in it as well. I'm a little bit biased, but truly consistently has been one of the best books that I've ever read. Highly recommend. The prose is luscious, beautiful. Chris somehow managed to encapsulate or contain or capture or summon Fitzgerald's spirit for the voice in the prose, and it's incredible. The world building and the way that it meshes with the original Gatsby and its themes, just beautiful. Absolutely a brilliant book. I know I talk about this book a lot, but please buy it if you haven't already, or check it out from your library. Just read this book. I think it's a very necessary read, especially for the times we are living in right now. Now let's launch into what we are doing today. Obviously, it's another 10K weekend. Gotta fill out these bad boys. I'm going for a pink purple theme right now. I don't know why I've been thinking about Valentine's Day, but I have been. Just getting the logistics aside, I'm going to go out to my favorite cafe, which is not open on Sundays, so I need to go today and get my jalapeno cheddar croissant with the chive cream cheese if they have it. I think my plan is to basically just sit there with my laptop until either my laptop dies or my headphones die, or I hit 5,000 words, and then I'll come back home and do other stuff, which namely is editing a video that I would really like to get up tomorrow, but I don't know how logistically possible that is, and grade about a billion papers. But a little bit of a reflection before we dive into that. So obviously the last time I did this challenge about 2 weeks ago, I only hit 8,000 words out of my 10,000, and I was feeling pretty crummy about myself. But looking back, like, only 8,000 words in 2 days feels like a ridiculous statement. That is an average of 4,000 words a day, which is way more than I typically write. And the reason I do this is because my weekday is essentially way too busy for me to do anything other than my full-time day job and also like respond to publishing emails and do publishing logistics stuff, which right now is pretty sparse, but I feel like it's starting to ramp up because we're a year out from release. Less than a year out at this point, actually. I have a feeling that side of things is only going to get more intense from here on out. So basically the only time I have to write is the weekends, so I try to get as much of that done as physically possible. That's why I'm doing this. It's been working so far. Obviously, I'm not hitting the 10,000 words every time, but even aiming for that big goal has been helpful. The only thing is, last week I was really starting to feel like the quality of my words was not nearly up to snuff, and I'm someone who really struggles with perfectionism. In particular, I've always struggled with going back and editing as I draft. And with the pace that this challenge clips at, it's really difficult for me to do that and get the words on the page up to standard before I try to like hit my next 1,000 words, so on and so forth. So I was really struggling not last week, but 2 weeks ago. It was really starting to affect my confidence as well. With MOTHSBLOOD, I was working on MOTHSBLOOD copy edits. Those are now officially turned in as well. As I was reading through MOTHSBLOOD and doing those copy edits and simultaneously trying to dump 10,000 words into Crips, I was becoming so aware of my own perceived flaws as a writer. It was really starting to get to my head, and honestly, I just needed to stop. So I cut that challenge a little bit short. Still got to 8,000 words, which is pretty good, and I took a week off, and I determined that there's a couple of pretty big overhauls that I do want to make to Project Crips as well, sort of based off of beta reader feedback that I'm still grappling with, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm still trying to figure out how to navigate that. I think there's a big mental block for me in terms of like rehauling things structurally, because this is not the first time I've written Crips. It's gone through a bunch of different like major overhauls, structural changes. Alessia's character was completely different in the beginning. She had completely different circumstances, and every time I've done those big changes, it has been for the better, but it is so mentally, emotionally, creatively taxing to do that, to just like scrap everything and start fresh. I'm not quite at the point where I'm scrapping everything just yet, but some big changes are I'm shifting the POV from first person. I'm going into third person, like a close third person, but still a third person perspective that gives us a little bit more cognitive distance, and I think that's going to help with maintaining some of the mystery around Alessia's character. And initially I was hesitant to do so because on the surface there are some things about Alessia and Lark that are very, very similar, and MOTHSBLOOD is written in third person, and I was worried that it would feel repetitive to have this book also be written in third person. I think I'm just gonna have to make it work and ramp up their differences. And I'm also adding some sections. I haven't quite figured out where yet, but I'm going to add some stuff from Dante's point of view. Dante is the love interest? I don't know. He's like the secondary main character. Yes, there is like romantic drama between him and Alessia, but his role in the story is like much bigger. There was always a little piece missing because you don't see what he's up to a lot of the time. It's not necessarily like a straight dual POV book where it goes back and forth between them, but he is going to have some chapters. That's kind of what I'm doing. I've renamed the document that I was working in from draft 1 to draft 0.75 because I had a draft 0.5 before that, and I made a new draft that is the third person rewrite and is going to be going through draft 0.75, rewriting it in third person, adding some Dante chapters, smoothing out some of those transitions, and just doing those structural edits as I go. The thing is, I really want to keep adding words rather than going back and revising. With all of these like revisions in mind, I'm going to keep writing in draft 0.75 for this challenge specifically. That way I still have a relatively complete framework to work off of, and I'm adding words and adding story stuff instead of like just revising and counting that as adding, because as critical as this revision is, it's not getting me any closer to the finish line, which is what I'm really striving to do here with this challenge. So that's what I'm going to try today. Don't know if that made sense. We are going to try and add 10,000 words to draft 0.75 of Project Crips, and then later on in my own time, I will try to push that into draft 1. So yeah, currently draft 0.75 is sitting at around 56,000 words, so we're going to cross that 60k mark this weekend, hopefully. I'm going to head over to that cafe. I'm feeling kind of nervous about this, if I'm being entirely honest. You know what? That jalapeno cheddar croissant is going to give me strength. So, oh yeah, also I got my hair chopped and I got highlights. I don't know if you can tell. So yeah, let's go ahead, get a caffeinated drink, and settle in for the morning. Bye. Okay, so I just bought a gimbal. I'm still trying to figure out how to use it, but this is what we're gonna use to film the last clip of today. I have gotten, hold on, 4,000 words down, so I feel pretty good about today. I think I'm just kind of hitting a wall right now. I wrote some really fun scenes and some not so fun scenes, but fun for me because they're full of melodrama and just drenched in angst. And I think I'm just ready to call it quits for now. I was editing a video hoping to get it out tomorrow. That's not happening, so you know, we're just gonna kind of roll with the punches here. So I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my evening, but as usual, I wanted to give you guys a little clip just talking, reflecting. It's interesting doing these more regular vlogs where I'm filming every 2 weeks on the weekends because you really can tell, or I can tell, how much my mood affects my attitude toward my writing and my creative output. Today, even though it wasn't the easiest ever, like the first weekend was pretty fluid, pretty smooth in terms of writing, it definitely was a hell of a lot easier than it was 2 weekends ago where I was really feeling in the dumps. And that had to do with a lot of things, most having nothing to do with writing. I think some cool publishing stuff happening to me this past couple weeks has also really helped with my motivation. Wow, I really don't know how to use this thing. We'll figure it out. In general, I am feeling a lot better about this project, a lot less like down in the dumps about it. It is frustrating to see like my level of prose be so not up to snuff, and I think in part that has to do with me not reading on paper as much as I have been. I've actually been reading a ton of audiobooks because my commute is so long, so I've been like burning through audiobooks. I most recently finished The Night and the Moth because I wanted to read something gothic fantasy. That one was pretty fun, but I think it's a different experience to hear the words versus to like see them on the page for me. Personally, refilling my creative well, vocal training, all of those things where I absorb other people's prose and really do that through reading, that tends to come through physically reading on the page, and especially reading like physical books. I don't know if this is just like some stuff that I've made up in my own head, but I swear it's such a difference and I get different things out of it. I think I really do want to read tonight, like really sit down and read a chunk of a book versus kind of taking sips of books, which I read like 5 to 10 pages at a time, usually at night. But we'll see, because I'm gonna go get dinner with my partner and just enjoy the evening. Wow, I was in the middle of writing like a very angsty scene between Alessia and Dante, and I'm kind of like, should I just finish it? But no, I'm gonna call it for today. I'm so hungry. I just had like 2 croissants this morning and that was my entire breakfast, and the salted caramel steamer, which is still one of my like favorite drinks right now, even though it's not caffeinated. Gotta put something in my stomach, and I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow for day 2. Bye. You have been screaming all morning. What do you want? Huh? Oh, Lou. Huh? Oh, it's spicy. My makeup is spicy. What do you want? Come here. Get some pets. So I can see that my camera has about 5% battery left, so I'm gonna make this pretty quick. I have been reading this since last night. This is Founderside by Robert Jackson Bennett. It's actually been a good read. Like, it's clipping along at a quick pace, which is what I've been looking for in a book recently. I have my tea, and we are 4,000 words down as of yesterday. It's currently Sunday. It's about 7:55 in the morning because of the time change. I feel like it's way later, but it's not quite 8 yet, and we are gonna just jump right into it. I have to get 6,000 words down today. I think I can do it. I don't think I'm gonna leave this desk for a little bit. I might take a walk or something, but this is kind of like lock in, settle in, and get to work time. I am going out to dinner. It's like a little celebratory dinner for something I can't talk about yet at 7, so we're going to a steakhouse and I'll film some of that, and that'll pretty much be the day. So lots on my agenda today other than writing, though. I also have to do some work and prep for Monday, basically. And I would also like to get some progress in drawing some more Moth's Blood character headshots. Lots to do, fair amount of time to do it, but I'm just gonna dive in and see if I can get 2,000 words done. And I think that'll also take me over the 60,000 word mark as well. So that's pretty much it. No thoughts, no reflection. I'm not fully caffeinated yet, so my brain is kind of working at a slow whirl. It's kind of puttering along. So I'll update you guys when I'm a bit more awake. Bye. So my microphone kind of died, so we're just gonna do it like this, I guess. Hello. It's currently 12 o'clock, which feels insane. So I feel like I just was able to wring all of the productivity out this morning, you know? Sorry, my lips are super chapped because it is that time of year where everything is just ridiculously dry for no reason. So, a little bit of a progress update, then I'll talk a little bit about how drafting is going generally. Even though I have such a chaos drafting process, I feel like it's not helpful to anyone when I talk about it, especially in these like in the moment live sections. But hello, I am like less than 1,000 words out from my goal. I think, yeah, I'm at 64,284 to hit my goal. I just need 65,000 words. So 700 more words and I am set to go. That's it for this bad boy. And it's lunchtime. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break, I think. I'm still definitely feeling the energy, like I could keep going if I wanted to, but I wrote 5,000 words this morning. I need to chill a little bit. Some things that have worked for me, I just have some sticky note things. This morning, my computer mouse for my Mac actually died, so I just kind of clicked into where I needed to be in the document and plugged it in, and not having a mouse was kind of like helpful because I couldn't scroll around. I was literally strapped to my seat, had to write the scene. So I was able to flesh out a scene that's been giving me some trouble just by like holding myself hostage in that way. This morning, I also finished beta reading part 1 of one of my friend's books that we've been kind of doing a swap, except Cripps isn't nearly at the level that it needs to be swapped for critique. That was really fun, and I think I read probably around 60 pages in less than an hour and was able to like write up my feedback and put in all my notes. I haven't gotten to beta read in a while just for scheduling issues, but this is someone where if they want to do a swap, I will drop everything. So that was really wonderful. I think that gave me a lot of inspiration. Their book is absolutely lovely. I obviously can't share too much because it's not my story, but I really, really hope that it finds its way onto shelves soon, and I kind of have the feeling that it will. Beta reading is an underrated way to improve your own writing. I don't necessarily see it as a stepping stone to do that. Like, if you're beta reading for someone, you should be prioritizing helping them versus helping yourself. But I think that as someone who used to beta read, like, a lot of books, like most of my books read in a year would be beta read. It really helped me hone my eye for critique. It helped me kind of learn to identify and pinpoint what isn't working in a manuscript and communicate those things. Being able to put words to gut feelings that you have while you're reading something, I think, is an underrated skill as a writer, especially as someone who is very intuitive in my writing. Sometimes it was really difficult for me earlier on in my
progress or career to recognize why I wasn't feeling good about something. Learning to beta read, learning to critique, and to have that critical eye while reading was definitely something that helped me improve a lot and get better at revising my own work. So for the actual stuff I've been doing, there have been some world building adjustments. I'm changing the names of a couple things and just kind of firming up the terminology. I had a pretty strong idea of what I wanted the world building, specifically the necromancy magic system in this book to look like. Conveying those strong rules and structures onto the page wasn't going as well, so I made some tweaks for that. I have been writing a lot of scenes in the latter half of the second act and the third act, which is kind of like where everything goes to crap. I'm realizing that I really love this is like gonna come off so wrong, but I am very invested in two of the characters who are more side characters, as well as like the main characters. Their names are Isabella and Felipe, and I love them because they're problematic. They are instigators. They're kind of like what Victor was and is for MOTHSBLOOD, where they're just forces of nature that are causing problems for the protagonist. I tend to not use the word like villain necessarily, but Victor was definitely a villain. Felipe is definitely a villain. Isabella is a little bit more nuanced, I think. She's definitely an antagonist to the main character, or main characters, because we're adding in some Dante, but I don't see her as a fully purely villainous person, and I'm having a lot of fun with that. Don't get me wrong, they are horrible people and very problematic, and if they were real, I would smack them, but they are not, so I just get to enjoy them as the horrible people they are. Oh, I don't know how okay this is, but don't tell anyone I'm doing this. I actually have gotten blurbs in for MOTHSBLOOD already, so we have sent out MOTHSBLOOD to actual established authors, and I've gotten 2 blurbs back after they read the manuscript. I got one the other day on Friday that just was so wonderful, so kind and complimentary, and I'm still like shaking to think that someone has said this, like these nice things about something I've written. There was a line that really stood out to me, and I'll just read it out. Characters that feel even realer, flawed, full of longing, and wonderfully complex. And I just kind of read that and was like, that is what I want to do with every book. I want my characters to be flawed, complex, have this palpable desire for the things that they want and are trying to get those things. I want them to have that drive, that motivation. I want them to be driving forces in the story. And that little tidbit out of the blurb that I got was so good to just remind me of the fact that I am a character writer first, and I just love writing characters who are messy people, who feel realistic even in these fantasy worlds, who make sense even when they're doing things that are wrong and bad. I want people to be able to understand where those actions and feelings and thoughts are coming from. I want even like my worst characters to be understandable, if not relatable. That was just a little like piece of blurb, I guess, that made me super happy this week and has honestly lit a fire under me, has made me really want to write and reminded me that I love to write. That's kind of the updates for the morning. I'm gonna eat something before I fall over because I haven't eaten today, because the hyperfixation really kicked in and I really just wanted to write. So we're gonna eat something and then I'm gonna come back, finish up my last 700 words, and we'll see what happens from there. Bye.
Hi. It's like pitch black outside, which I hate. It's nice to be able to wake up a little bit later in the day, but it is 5:45 p.m. Pure nighttime. We are getting into the end times, guys. I'm not looking forward to the rest of this year. But hey, some good news. I have finished 10,000 words this weekend. I've officially pulled it off for a second time in like a month or whatever. So yeah, let's talk about it. I ended up in like a really awkward filming position because one, I lost my fluffy thing, both of them that go on top of my microphone, so we'll see how the audio in these clips come out. But also two, it's really difficult to film in a room with limited space. Eventually, we will move, and eventually I will have like a room that I can fully rearrange to fit my filming needs. So looking forward to that. So I just finished like the last 700 words here. I took an extended break, took a nap, and played Animal Crossing. I was one of those people that downloaded Animal Crossing during the pandemic or in the late pandemic and then ended up never playing it. But I've gotten really into it in this past couple weeks again. I don't know why, because usually games like that, where one, it's real time, and two, it's mostly just like chores and stuff, I don't love them, but I'm really enjoying it right now. I'm enjoying the collecting aspect and just like building stuff. I finished firmly in the 65,000 word range. So we were sub 60,000. We started off with around 55,000 words. We're now at 65,000 words. I feel positive about probably 50% of those words. Not amazing, but they could be worse. I will say that maybe a lot of it kind of was starting to feel like filler because I was starting to lose hold of the plot, y'all. I need to retype this draft and figure out what's going on. End of the day, words are down. This book is in the standard like double spaced Times New Roman 12-point font. It's about 240 pages. If I'm being honest, I think the story that I've got on page right now is probably going to stretch to about 100,000 words, if not slightly more. In my head, 100,000 words has been kind of like the target endpoint goal, but really the story is done when the story's done. I think it might end up being a little bit longer than that just because there's so much going on, and now I'm adding these Dante chapters that I can't figure out where to put or how to integrate into the story, and that's okay. That's more of like a retyping me issue. That was so loud. For me, this is very much like the awkward teenager puberty stage of drafting, like getting this last section, the back half of Act 2 is always an awkward stage, and the front half of Act 3 is always an awkward stage, especially writing non-linearly in the way that I've been doing. I think it's just really difficult to find that momentum, build up to those scenes in a way that feels naturalistic. Of course, all of that comes to me during revisions, so I'm not too worried about it. Like, this is a draft that is never going to see the light of day. I'm really just trying to have a finished version of the story that's relatively complete with a beginning, middle, and end so that I can fix it, chop it up, rewrite whole sections, rewrite the whole thing in third person, blah. So I'm trying to be okay with the fact that it's imperfect, and weirdly changing the name of this document from Cripps Draft 1 to Cripps Draft 0.75. I was actually texting Chris today, my friend Cam Fajardo, who by the way is famous, and please read Local Heavens, that weirdly helped, just that little psychological shift in mindset from, hey, this is the draft 1 to this draft 0.75. You can kind of do what you want. So that was really helpful in just being able to let loose, get words out, and complete this challenge. I guess we are wrapping this up now that I've done this, which I can't believe I've done it again, but here we are. I actually wanted to give you guys a little bit of a November TBR. This video probably won't come out until later in the month, but it is currently November 2nd, and fresh month, fresh me. One of the goals that I'm really trying to commit to this month, especially because November is a writing month. It just is a writing month, even though we don't do that challenge anymore, at least not on my channel. People be writing. As it gets colder, as we come inside, we find solace in our imaginations. For me, because every month is a writing month, I'm going to kind of reprioritize reading. So I am going to share a little TBR. I read books in multiple formats, and I often read multiple books at a time. I always read multiple books at a time. So right now on audio for my TBR, I have The Hounding by Zenobi Purvis, which is kind of like lit-ish fic about a bunch of women in a small English village who are turning into dogs. I am listening to the Local Heavens audiobook by Cam Fajardo, obviously. With my partner, we're about 12% through, so hopefully we finish that this month. And in an ebook format, I am reading Blood Cyan by Deborah Fallier. I think it's set in Space or the Future. I'm not very far into it, but it's about people with magic who shouldn't have it and how they're persecuted. And that one's been sitting on my TBR for years, so I want to clear it out of my ebook thing. For physical books, I don't have it with me, but I'm reading Jade City by Fonda Lee. This has taken me forever to get to, and it's also been taking me forever to get through. I think I stopped and started this book probably like half a dozen times over the past couple years. I've had this paper copy. It's signed and everything forever, and now it's all like beat up because I've been taking it everywhere, whatever. And for some reason, I just could not push through the first couple chapters. And I finally did, and I'm now about halfway through the book, and it's still taking me a long time to get through, but I'm so invested in the world and story and characters, and I really want to finish this book. It's been on my to finish list forever. And yeah, that is like top of my TBR for November. Then I picked up Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett, which I mentioned earlier in this blog. I would also like to at least get like halfway through that this month. And if I have time, I am going to read the second Bridgerton book by Julia Quinn, The Viscount Who Loved Me, because this was the best season. It just was. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be my November TBR. I am a slow reader. I really savor books, and I also don't spend as much of my free time reading as I used to and as I'd like to. I think I've read less than 30 books this year total, and a lot of that has been in the past couple months because with my commute I've been listening to audiobooks. So I really need to pick up the pace with reading. I don't have reading goals. I don't really try to hit arbitrary numbers like that for reading, but I do think it's fun to like track my progress, which I do privately through Storygraph rather than through Goodreads. My Goodreads account is when I have my book up. It's going to be my author account, so I'm mostly going to use that to post blurbs and reviews for authors' sake, that kind of thing. I think that pretty much covers everything. I really need to wash my hair, and we're gonna go to this dinner. I'll film some clips of that because I'm excited, and it's a bookish reason that we're going out to celebrate, so might as well film it for posterity. I wish I could share that secret with you guys, but I cannot yet. I'll just share the celebration. So just pretend that you know what we're celebrating. It'll be like you're there. But other than that clip, which I will save for the very end, I think we are done. Thank you so much for watching. If you have made it this far and you like this video, you know what to do. If you wanted to leave a little comment to show that you made it to the end of this video, let's do a little falling leaf emoji because the fall vibes are coming to a close, and I hope I captured some of them in this video. I know it wasn't as active as the previous week's video, but I went outside less because it's cold. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, and I will see you guys next time.